What's up, YouTube? We got a nice, hot, sunny day, and I figured I'd take advantage of it and use it as an opportunity to test out this new Bluetti system in the bus. If you guys have been following along in the channel, we've been building out this old shuttle bus to use in our little adventure trips and our road trips and stuff. And one of the things that I added was a Bluetti AC200MAX. They call these things solar generators. I'm not going to call it that because it's not a generator, it's a battery bank. It's a battery bank that you could tie in solar panels, which you see back there. I have two 200-watt solar panels, and then it'll recharge that battery bank. Now, most of the times we go camping, we have hookups, but we don't have a bathroom in the bus, so the only hookup that I use is power. I'm really also trying to just kind of be prepared for the times that we don't have hookups, because there are times they have events at the off-road park, stuff like that, where all the full hookup sites are booked, and the only thing available is primitive. So like I said, we don't have a bathroom. A lot of times in those situations, we figure we take advantage of it and go down. But I got to figure out a way to keep it cool inside in the summertime. The diesel heater keeps it warm, but in the summertime, I got to figure out a way to keep it cool, which is what I did. And like I said, if you guys have been following along, we've been building this out, but I'm really trying to not put too much money into it, but it gets hot in there. So I put this Midea 12K BTU inverter style air conditioner in the back. I have a total, theoretically, of 400 watts of solar. Each one of those panels are 200 watts a piece. I have them wired up in parallel, feeding back to that battery bank inside. And then also, for the times that the battery bank isn't able to keep up, I do also have this little Briggs & Stratton suitcase generator. So what I'm gonna do is do a complete field test. I got the bus running right now just to keep it cool, but I'm about to shut the engine off and then turn on that air conditioner and see if it'll run off that Bluetti AC200MAX. And then see, I know that realistically it's gonna run it, but it's not gonna run it for that long. That's the reality. But I wanna get an idea of how long exactly and how much are these panels actually gonna even be able to keep up. Is this something I'm gonna be able to run during the day, or I just need the solar panels to charge it during the day, run the generator during the day, and then switch back to the Bluetti at night. So anyway, let's get on with the test. I got the bus running and I have the bus AC going. So first things first, let's shut that off. Got the generator ready in case we need it. So the bus has a dash AC, and then it also has a rear AC all the way in the back. I have both of them going right now just to kind of try to keep it cool. But shut off the rear AC. Okay, shut off that rear battery. I'm gonna shut off the dash AC. And we shut off the bus. So now, let's go inside. So the way I have this wired is the Bluetti is inside. A little ghetto, but that's okay. And I have it wired to a transfer switch. So basically, when I am hooked up to shore power or a generator feed, it's gonna run off that. The minute that it doesn't sense power coming in on the inside, the transfer switch kicks it over to here, which that's my Bluetti AC200MAX. So this yellow extension cord is what is actually feeding the bus. I don't have it turned on now, so let's turn it on. So you go into the interface, hit AC, AC on. As you can see, we're at 99%. And those solar panels are only pulling in 79 watts, which is incredibly disappointing. But that's why we're doing this test. So we got the AC on. It's gonna take a second for the transfer switch because it was off, I believe. Let's see. Okay, it's not kicking on yet. There it goes. Transfer switch. All right, let's turn off this light because that's just kind of too much. So I keep in these Reflectix. These windows are awesome, but they bring in a lot of heat. I do want to keep them though, because in the spring and the fall when it's cool, it is super nice just to open those up and have all those views. But for the summertime, I try to keep it blocked out just to try to keep the sun out. But anyway, so let's see if we can turn this Midea on. Come over here, turn that on. Set to 60. Should be firing up. Now let's go back over to the Bluetti. We're gonna see. Yeah, see, so that shows us using, the AC load is at 318 watts, up to 500. and we're pulling in 72. I can tell you right now, well, it's obviously going to be more on startup, but Bluetti is not going to be able to keep up with the air conditioner. And I pretty much knew that. This thing is awesome, but you got to understand its limitations. It's not for powering big appliances. The other side of that too is I do have the breaker on that's charging my onboard battery, which I don't need. I believe it's that one. It's not that one. It's this one. It's not that one either. Fudge. It is that one. And that one's the air conditioner. All right, so we're gonna leave that on. I thought I had that on its own circuit, but apparently I do not. So anyway, let's just leave that on. We'll let that start back up. So I got my nice little thermometer right there. It's 73 degrees in here. Now this bus has zero insulation, none whatsoever. Like I said, I was really not trying to dump a lot of money into it. Kind of regretting the zero insulation aspect. I do have a curtain that I'm gonna put up front to try to keep some of the cold air back here. It's not the prettiest, but it does the job. It is what it is. Making the most, putting lipstick on a pig. So, 176, that compressor hasn't kicked back on. It was on earlier and then I shut the breaker off, so it's gotta kind of go through its process again. All right, well, while we're waiting for that, that was my fault because I killed the circuit. Compressor definitely didn't kick on. I am gonna put on that front little curtain real quick because I know I'm gonna need that. Okay, so now we are pulling 810 watts, 810 watts, 12 watts, whatever. So that tells me the compressor kicked on and this thing's actually pumping out cold air. Should be. Yes, it is. So I have this set to 60 and I do have it on eco mode and I have the fan on high. We'll test different settings. This does also have a flash cool setting, but it uses a crap ton of energy, so I'm not gonna do that. And look, we've already risen, we're at 75. So, we got the AC going. Let's see. It's 12:54. We're gonna revisit in an hour. So it's 12:54, and we are at 97% on the Bluetti, with 78 watts incoming and the AC going. I got some lights on, TV is off. I'm just gonna try to simulate what this is gonna be like during the day. So in the meantime, while I wait for this hour to finish, I'm gonna go get an extension cord and get that generator set up because I got a really good feeling that's where we're gonna end up. But that's all right, let's see. Now, one of the things I do love about that Midea is how quiet it is on the inside. Most of those window shakers are super loud. That thing's nice and quiet. Let's go around to the back. We'll see if we can hear it running. She's running. So we took this thing down to Brimstone in Tennessee. I had just installed that air conditioner before then, but it honestly wasn't that hot, so we didn't get a good opportunity to test it. So before I'm out in the Badlands, when it's 95 degrees, I'm gonna test it out here in the yard, or if something goes wrong, I can just go in the house. So that's it. We're gonna give it an hour. We'll pick back up and see where we're at, percentage-wise, see if this is gonna be realistic, or if I'm gonna have to fire up the generator. Let's do it. All right, it's been about an hour since we set up that Bluetti. Let's see where we're at. It is, what time did we leave that at? 12:54, it is 1:59, so a little bit over an hour. AC is still running. Solar panels are still there, even though they're not putting out much power. AC is still running. That's a good sign. And generator for backup. So that being said, it was 75 when we left for the first time. Let's see if it cooled off much. Keep in mind, I painted this thing like gray. It's definitely attracted some heat, and I have zero insulation. Let's see. All right, doesn't feel too bad in here. Okay, that's not bad. So the temperature is showing up as 86. So that means the AC has been running for an hour. It's got even hotter in here, but honestly, it doesn't feel bad. So I don't know if maybe that's picking up from that back wall, now that I think about it. Yes, because that back wall is warm because it's in sun. So let's take this. I'm gonna take this little thermometer. I'm gonna set this over here where it's out of the sun, out of direct sun, and we'll see where we're at. So it's been running on eco mode. That's not flash cool. That's the other thing, is I could put it on flash cool. It'll cool off a lot quicker, but it honestly feels comfortable in here. It's showing up as 86 and it's 85 outside. No, it's 86 outside. That's gotta be due just to that radiant heat coming off that back wall, because that back wall's in full sun. But let's see where the Bluetti's at. We're at 43%. So that is no bueno. You see the up in the upper left corner, that's showing the photovoltaic, which is the solar. That's showing my incoming power, 66 watts. Outgoing power is 1,168 watts. Now, not all of that is the air conditioner. I think the air conditioner is like 800. It is also the onboard charger for that. I do also have, I think I have the fridge plugged in. Let's see. No, fridge is not plugged in. So yeah, that's really minimal loads. So what that tells me is this Bluetti, no matter how many expansion packs or solar panels, is not going to be capable of running the air conditioner. But that's okay. Honestly, if it was, that would have blew my mind. I kind of expected that. It's not that big of a deal. What that tells me is I'm going to have to run the generator during the day when we're out, when it's hot, just to keep it nice and cool. So with that being said, I think I'm going to give up on the Bluetti. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to fire up that generator. We'll put this on flash cool. We'll see if we can get this temperature to drop. So let's do that. We are still sitting at 86. I'm going to go outside, fire up that generator. Man, that thing is spiking. So those fans just kicked on. I'm pulling 1,200 watts. I'm not quite sure why I'm pulling so much power, to be honest. That seems a bit excessive. I do have this guy running, though. Is this? Yes. So that's probably a big part of it right there. But I would have this running when I was camping, so I don't necessarily want to turn that off. That's my Dometic 12-volt cooler. The other side of that is I do have it running off AC. I could plug it in directly there and use DC, and it'll be more efficient. So something to keep in mind. I'm not going to mess with that right now, honestly, because the percentages on that Bluetti just tell me that this isn't going to work for what I'm thinking it would have. So anyway, let's start up the gen. Let's put this thing on flash cool. Don't be discouraged. That's really what I was thinking it was going to do. That's asking a lot. To have an actual solar setup that you can run AC off of, you're going to have quite a bit of a nice hefty solar setup, which I don't have. That's the Bluetti AC200MAX. I have the official Bluetti 200 watt portable panels, and then I have a Renogy panel. Maybe because I'm mixing manufacturers is why it's not really cranking out too much. I don't really know, but that's supposed to be 400 watts. They overrate them, obviously, but I would expect to pull at least 150 to 200 watts out of there. Even 200, that's half of rated power. Whatever, AC's running. Let's fire up this gen. Gen's powered up. Now remember, I have that transfer switch. So now that I have it plugged in, the transfer switch should sense it and then switch back over. Let's go see. Haven't been paying too much attention to the bus since Pop's got that new Class A RV, but not all of us have that kind of money. The bus is mine. It's what I'm focused on, so we're getting back to it. RV's sweet and all. That's a little out of my price range. So let's go see what's going on inside. So we're looking down here at the Bluetti. You can still see that AC load is 1200 watts, which tells me that fan just kicked on. That kind of freaked me out. Anyway, that tells me that the transfer switch hasn't transferred over yet. So I'm gonna give it a minute, because I think as soon as it senses, it should go back. Otherwise, I gotta turn off the AC power on this and then restart the air conditioner, which isn't a big deal. Honestly, now that I think about it, I think I'm gonna do that anyway, because I don't want this AC to get power interrupted. So let's shut this off. So that is now off. And that shows we're down to 100 watts. So yeah, that thing was pulling every bit of 1,000 watts on eco mode, which is a good amount of power. You're definitely gonna need shore power hookups to run your AC. Look at that, just in the time that I'm talking, which is about 7 minutes, we're already down to 38%. No bueno. Let's see, let's turn this off. Okay, which we just did. And let me think about this here. I'll turn this back on. And now that we got the generator running, I'm gonna try this on flash cool. So let's see. Huh, I don't remember how to, oh, flash cool, that's what it is. Duh. So flash cool is meant to be like basically max cold settings. Coming into a hot RV, a hot whatever, hot room, I guess, because that's technically a room air conditioner. Hit it on flash cool, it'll cool it off real quick. At least that's what the idea is. Now this is a 12,000 BTU AC unit, but at least that's what it's rated for, but it doesn't really seem like it puts out as much of the other noisy 12,000 BTUs, but whatever, we'll see it. See my little ghetto mountain there? It works. All right, I'm just waiting for that to... See, so that definitely was that temperature coming off that back wall, because just moving it over here, it's already dropped. So it wasn't really 86 degrees in here. That's that sun coming through that back wall that was heating this thing up. This is a better spot. This is probably a more truer temp. So let's go this route and see what it does. Still hasn't kicked the compressor on. Straighten these guys out too. Turn that swing off. Sounded like I just heard a kick on. It's kind of hard to tell because everything's outside. So even having to use the generator, that's not that big of a deal. That thing's only a 2,000 watt little suitcase generator. I couldn't run the rooftop ACs on the camper off of that. So, I mean, realistically, if I can run this off the generator, I'm pretty happy with that. It's not a big deal. It would cost me a gallon to run it all day. $4 for a cool bus. I'm good with that. I know for a fact that if I figured out something with this front end, with this, I mean, it's not doing a very good job. It's doing it decent enough, but if I really found a way to close this off, it would help a lot. I obviously got this big gap on the top. I got gaps everywhere. It's not really doing a good job of insulating it, but that's why we're testing it all out. Is it good enough, or do I need to keep throwing money at this thing? Come on, baby. Okay, so now that's getting cold. All right, well, we got it on flash cool. At this point, flip the camera on. All right, so we got it on flash cool. At this point, I'm gonna let it run for another hour. We're gonna come back and revisit it. Now it's running off the generator. I kind of just want to get a good idea of how much or how long the fuel's gonna last me. I did fill it up completely before I started it. So let's let it run for an hour. We'll check fuel levels, we'll check temps. Let's go. What time is it now? It is, I don't know. Oh, here it is. So it's 2:10. We're gonna revisit at 3:10. We're on flash cool. Midea, 12,000 BTU window unit in the back of a shuttle bus. Is it gonna work, or am I gonna have to insulate? Stay tuned, because we're gonna find out. Let's figure out where we're at. It is now 3:10, so we're an hour later. We've had the generator running. We're switched off the Bluetti. Now it's just recharging off the solar panels. Gen's running, powering everything up. See it over there in the corner. I got the AC on flash cool. I think it was 82 when we walked out an hour ago. So I'm really kind of interested to see if it cooled down at all. Now you can see we do have this thing in full sun. It's not that hot of a day today. It is 86 degrees, so it's definitely on the cooler end because it's been mid-90s for a while. But it is full sun. We're seeing, oh, look at that. You can see the water dripping out the back of the AC. That's good. Condensate dripping there. Got the gen running. Let's go see what the inside temp is. Man, that's ghetto, huh? It works. Solar panels. See, that needs some more tilt on it. I can tell you that much right now. And that's probably why I'm not getting that much out of these things. But anyway, let's go inside. So another quick thing is I do actually have like a windshield screen or blocker, whatever the heck you call it. That's not in right now, so it's definitely making it hotter. But I couldn't find it. I gotta fix this door. Ooh, that feels good. Feels better than last time. All right, let's turn on some lights. So, we still got this thing running, set to 60, still on flash cool. That is super cold air, so that's definitely working. Feels pretty good in here. Let's check the thermometer. 82. So it didn't move. That's interesting. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's 86. Tomorrow it's gonna be 92. Maybe I'll redo this test. But for me, I think the conclusions that I've had after this video is I probably need to start insulating this thing. I don't really know what that looks like. If you guys have ideas, let me know. I have this pink board in the back. I did want to start or finish that because I got a lot of heat that comes in through there. But I'm kind of thinking wrap that in some more of that pink board and then do that whole wall. You could tell over here, I got some gaps up at the top. It's not sealed well, but it's an old shuttle bus. And I definitely need to figure out that front wall because I know I have a lot of heat coming in from up there because it's hot up there. I don't really know what I could do with these side walls, but I think if I really want to start taking this thing out in hot temperatures, and this is going to be my window unit, I'm going to have to figure out some insulation. So that's it, guys. Window unit, shuttle bus install. Does it work? Does it not? Is it acceptable? I think it works good enough to go camping, but it could work better, and I could improve efficiency tenfold if I just insulate this thing. Like I said, this is a Midea 12,000 BTU inverter style air conditioner. I'll leave a link down in the description if you guys are curious. You can kind of see how I mounted it up. It took some redneck ingenuity. I put strut across there, some band clamps, and just kind of made it work. I have an electric heater there. That's a backup source because I have a diesel heater here. That's our primary heat source, but those Chinese diesel heaters, if I have a problem, wanted to make sure I had a backup plan. So for me, I think that was I think that was a success. It beats putting the rooftop unit in, and it does work well enough. I don't know if I'm going to record it, but I'm going to let this run and come out here in about an hour, check it again. But I still think that was a success. So, conclusion, window unit and a shuttle bus. Does it work? It works good enough. There's probably better solutions, and insulation would help. But it does work good enough to where I feel like I'm happy with it. It was a minimal amount of money and a minimum amount of effort, and I got it to work. So thanks for watching, guys. If you guys have any ideas to help me improve the cooling, please let me know. Definitely open to suggestions because we're getting there, but we're not quite there. Thanks for watching, guys. Till next time.